Hi everyone, it's me, Crafty Witch, and welcome back to my channel. Thought I would do a bit of a video update for those of you that are interested on kind of what's been going on in my life since like last fall, last summer, um, and where life has taken me since then. So, it really started last fall. The love of my life passed away. Actually, he went missing in early September, and there was a lot of signs and omens before his death, as well as during, like afterwards, and like during the period of when his body was missing. He was missing. He wasn't found until about a month later, just over a month later, and anybody who's ever had a loved one go missing, I can totally relate to how devastating that is. It was so hard on his family and his friends. If you hear crunching, that's the cats. The food is in my room for them because the dog will eat it and he is allergic to everything. And if he eats their cat food, he breaks out in hives because he has like no immune system. But anyway, carrying on. Yeah, and so there was a lot of omens before his death and during the time when he was missing, as well as even afterwards. A lot of signs, a lot of things that were going on. And someday maybe I'll do a video about that. Not quite ready to do that video just yet. However, so that had happened, and that was the most profound loss I've experienced yet in my life. Losing my mom and dad, and pretty much, well, all my aunts, all my uncles, all my grandparents was devastating. I've only got about a handful of relatives left, and then plus my three sons. So, really, the majority of my family is deceased, and that alone is very devastating. But to lose him, totally totally ripped my heart out of my chest. I had known him since I was, well, 8 years old and loved him instantly and always looked up to him and respected him. And he was my first love. As we got older, he became my first lover. And we always talked about growing old together, traveling the world together. We had all these hopes and plans and dreams, and it's gone. So our lives always kind of went like this. And, but yeah. So anyway, so that happened. And then afterwards, about a month after, they finally found him. And it was really difficult on the whole family and on all of his friends and people that knew and loved him. There was search parties, there were volunteers, there were people, volunteer mountain climbers would come out and volunteer to look for him. They had drones looking for him, they had infrared looking for him, and it was to no avail. They just couldn't find him. It was also frustrating, and like during that time, I can remember like I would get angry because it's like, especially if they called off the search or something, maybe because of weather or whatever, I just felt angry. It was like, no, you gotta keep looking, but it wasn't meant to be. And yeah, uh, losing my parents was devastating. My family members was devastating. I've miscarried. That was devastating. But to lose him, um, really tore my world in half. And had, since then, like I had posted videos every once in a while afterwards, and would slap on a smile and hi, it's me, Crafty Witch, kind of thing, and try to carry on. But meanwhile, inside I was like dying. So I'm still in the process of grieving for him, and really the pain, it ebbs and flows, and it's kind of like ocean waves, like the ocean. At some points in time it's nice and calm and it's peaceful, and other times those waves are kind of crashing down on you, and every once in a while it kind of sneaks up on you out of the blue. The one day I remember I was doing dishes, and then a song came on the radio, and I was by myself, in the kitchen, and it hit home, and then next thing I had tears rolling down my face as I was doing dishes. Like, it could be really silly things like that. I guess it's not silly. Everybody grieves in their own way, and they have their own process. So still, learning to coexist with that loss. And yeah, but someday I'll do a video on the different omens and the different signs that occurred, like I said, before he had passed away, and then during the time when he was missing, as well as after his funeral. And they're pretty significant signs, and so I'll save that for another time. And then what happened after that? Then in December, I oh, in November, I injured my knees at work. Oh my goodness. So both knees sustained soft tissue damage. That wasn't fun. And then come December, I had the dream about the animals talking to me. I had posted on here, I think about a month after the dreams. I had, first of all, a dream about these animals coming to me and talking to me, and then I dreamt about my father coming, and what had happened afterwards with regards to not being able to eat meat. So back in December, I have that dream, and these animals come to me, and they all came in 2 by 2. Every single animal I've ever known, any pet I've ever had, as well as the polar opposite of themselves. So, for instance, my cat Lucky, she was in that dream. She had lived to be 20 years old, and I loved her completely. She was my baby girl, and she came to me in that dream as well. She was actually right in the forefront, along with the exact male version of herself. And like any animal I've ever eaten, whether it was a deer or cow or chickens or whatever, the male and the female version of every single animal, like there was like thousands of animals, showed up. Every single pet I've ever had, the male and female version of them would show up, and some of them looked like zombies. Some of them had this black, oily, tar-like substance dripping off their fur. Some of them looked like they had mange. Some of them just they looked rough, and it was kind of scary. And to see this massive amount of wildlife in front of you was one thing, and especially in the condition that they were in. And then they started to talk and told me how pissed off they were. I did post a video on it, but they did talk about, like, there were going to be earthquakes coming, there was going to be flooding, there would be fires, there's going to be a lot of loss of life, both human and animal life. There would be illnesses, there'd be destruction, or what we would consider to be very destructive forces, like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, flooding, fires, all that kind of stuff happening. And globally, this is going to be happening like all around our globe, and there's going to be this thing that was coming, and that I needed to prepare for it, and prepare so that my children and myself, that we would be okay. So then I have that dream, and then a day or two later, I can't remember exactly, I have it written down in my journal. Then my deceased dad, came to me. He was like, "Yvonne, we need to have a talk." And it was a very serious, somber discussion, but I can't remember exactly what we talked about. I remember sitting down, and he gave me that look, like, you need to listen and you need to do as I say. And then we sat down, we had this conversation, which I can't freaking remember. And I thought everything was fine. And up until that point, when I dreamt about my dad, I was still eating meat. I grew up in a tribal culture where hunting and eating meat, that was part of the culture, and it still very much is so. And I've got nothing against farmers or people that eat meat. I've never had any intention of ever becoming a vegetarian. And then after that, I was so repulsed by meat. I couldn't eat it. It felt like I was doing like cannibalism. It was so repulsive to me, and I still haven't eaten meat since then. And in fact, if my kids still eat meat, um, but I won't buy it, I won't touch it, I won't prepare it, I won't cook it. And when they cook it, the smell of it makes me physically sick. Like I can't be near it. It still grosses me out. So anyway, so that was in December, and then like I said, I shared that with my kids and with some loved ones. And then in January, well, we started to prepare like in um, late December, early January. Um, we started buying supplies. First thing I got was medical supplies. I got some groceries and like additional shelf stable things, and I even bought masks, and I remember buying latex gloves, and this is all before the global kind of pandemic hit. And I was like, whatever influenced me, I just let the spirit move me, and whatever it wanted me to go and get, that's what I got. So then I posted the videos, I think on YouTube. I don't know. It was after mid-January. I'm thinking either the third or fourth week in January. I'd have to look back. And I shared the dreams here on YouTube, and thought, I'm just going to put that message out there, and people could take it or leave it or do whatever they want. I told some close friends at work, and I'm like, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I had this wild ass dream. I'm going to share it with you guys. Take it or leave it. And they're like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. And then in February, I got really sick with a severe lung infection. Looking back now, I think it was probably COVID, but I'm not too sure because I was never tested. And at that time, I don't think we really even had COVID. I don't think there was any COVID in our province at that time. And it was like, I've had bronchitis before, I've had pneumonia before, I am asthmatic, I know what those things feel like. Whatever it was that I had in February was way worse. Like, I could not breathe, and I would cough, and it was like there was stuff inside the lung. Like, I just couldn't expel it. It was horrible. I was extremely sick, and during that time, I was like, I need to leave this job. The job I had was so demanding. I was a program manager of a group home. I was basically on call every day of the week, every day of the year, and it was just to the point where like I was so unhappy, because even during my off time, my time was never my own. Even if I had bereavement leave, I would still be getting phone calls from work. Like, you could never disconnect. You can never have that break, because you had to be available. And oftentimes we were short staffed. And so, like, you could work your own day shift and then still have to stay there all night long because, people are sick or something happened. And so anyway, I was very unhappy, and I did apply for another job within the same organization. Went for an interview about a week or two later after getting sick, and I was still super sick. I felt like I was knocking on death's door. It was so bad. Went for this interview in February while still really sick, and thought I was going to bomb. I couldn't change the interview, and walked out of there thinking, yeah, I'm not going to get that job at all. And I ended up getting that job. And so then I started the new job in March, in the middle of March. The same day they declared a pandemic in my province. And I was supposed to get training, and the person that I was taking over, like, I am a program manager of another program here in town, and that former program manager was supposed to give me some training for 2 weeks. By day 6, by day 1, the pandemic was declared. So my training pretty much went out the window because they're all focused on, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? How is this going to affect the program delivery? What kind of policies are going to come into place? Like, our province has never experienced something like this, and neither has our country. And this is something that was affecting the whole bloody world. So that's what happened on my first day of my new job. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, on one hand, I was so happy I was no longer at the group home because I didn't want to live at the group home during the pandemic. But then on the other hand, it was like, how do you learn a new job that you're not familiar with and learn the ins and outs of that job when you don't get the training? By day 6, I was given a blank laptop and sent home to work from home, and I've been working from home since. And for the most part, like maybe once a week, I get to go into the office and do some things there that have to be done only there because the files are on the tower computer at work, and then there's all the hard copy files, and you have to go in about once a week or so. So that's where my life has taken me. I'm still kind of learning the ins and outs of the new job. It's really difficult to do when there is nobody around to show you how to do certain reports or where to find certain information and to learn the ins and outs. It's definitely been baptism by fire. However, I do enjoy the fact that my time is my own and that I don't have to work around the clock the way I was over at the group home, and that I can take vacation leave and I can shut my phone off and disconnect and kind of just feel human again. So I'm in that phase right now. And as for work, that's kind of where I'm at. So I am busy. It's also a very demanding job, just in different ways. And I am trying to do videos when I can. I wasn't thinking about videos this spring for the most part because chaos erupted, and kept thinking, I wonder how everybody's doing. I should do a video, and then I was like, I'll get to it when I can, and yeah, so that's kind of what happened. And right now, well, now it's July, and we're still working from home. And we likely will be working from home until maybe September, depending on how things go and whatnot. So I do want to say that the organization that I work for has been phenomenal. They've been excellent in that regard. They've been very supportive to all of the staff in all the different programs. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's where things are at with me. Just, hanging in there and, keep moving forward as best I can. My health, I'm still kind of recovering from working at the group home. There's been a substantial amount of weight gain, as you guys can see, especially after Jeff had passed away. Well, even before then, just with my health and all that kind of stuff, and there's some depression going on, a lot of stress eating. It's like, I have nobody to talk to, so I'm gonna eat these chips, and then before you know it, you eat the whole bag, and you're like, ah, shit, that's not good. So yeah, so that's where things are at with me. I am human. I'm not perfect by any means, never will ever claim to be that at all. And even with my videos, I upload them raw, mistakes and all. I can't edit them right now anyway. And I look at other people's videos on YouTube, and they're all professional, and they have these incredible intros, and they edit them perfectly, and they got music playing in the background, and they're so beautiful, and they're like these professional videos. Yeah, you're not going to get that from me. You're going to get kind of raw, unfiltered mistakes and all, and that's just how I roll. So if you can handle that and continue to put up with me, that's awesome. And I thank you for that. And I thank you for the love and the support you guys have given me, especially during the really difficult times in my life. And yeah, so that's it for now. Ciao.